Hello, namaste, welcome. My name is Christy, and this is a Yin Yoga and Reiki practice where we'll focus on the fourth chakra, Anahata chakra, the heart chakra, also known as Hridaya, which in Sanskrit translates to heart. So we will really dive into this metta energy or loving kindness through the lens of Yin Yoga, these gentler asanas to release deep tension in the body, and then channeling this divine healing love through a self-Reiki practice. And this specific practice is part of a journey through the chakras through the lens of Yin Yoga, Reiki, and Yoga Nidra. So I created a specific Yoga Nidra practice for Anahata, for the heart chakra, that I will link below because it's wonderful to do after this practice or can be done standalone and very powerful. And then also I'll put a link to the entire chakra journey because I hope you join me in all of these classes. It's really powerful to study your own energy system through these gentler practices, Yin Yoga, Reiki, and Yoga Nidra. So for class today, I'll be using some props. Know that you can grab whatever you have at home, pillows, blankets, blocks, and you can also choose to do the practice with no props if that feels supportive for you today. I'll be demonstrating with a bolster or a yoga pillow, a blanket, and 2 blocks. Also, if you are going to join me in the Yoga Nidra practice right after this practice, which I'll link below, you might want to grab an extra blanket or even an eye mask or something to cover your eyes with for the practice, just so you have that close by. And when you're ready, we'll get started in a comfortable seat. So we'll come into a comfortable seat. And I recommend sitting up on the edge of a blanket or even a pillow or a block to lift your hips a little higher than your knees, just to give you some comfort there. And we'll begin our practice with a mudra, the Hridaya mudra, or this heart gesture. So you'll place your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your left. And close down your eyes when you're ready. Take a big full body breath in and a clearing breath out. And just take a moment to honor yourself for allowing yourself space to be present, perhaps feel. And take a look deeper inside. This in itself is an act of love. And just feel that gentle rise and fall of your breath, holding your own heart with love and compassion. Anahata chakra is our heart chakra that is connected to empathy, joy, love, forgiveness, and compassion for oneself and others. It's our bridge chakra. It's in the center of the 7 major energy wheels or centers. So it really unites the lower 3 chakras, the chakras that are connected more to our physical body and the physical world, and the upper 3 chakras, our inner world, the more subtler sides of ourself. It's connected to the element of air. So as you breathe in, take a nice slow inhale for the count of 4. 3, 2, 1, filling up with air, and then feel that release. Exhale it out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow inhale breath in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow exhale breath out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These slow waves of equal ratio breathing. Just allowing yourself a moment to arrive to the practice. Bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer position. Inviting in a sankalpa or intention for this practice. Maybe something that you're personally moving through in your life that you'd like a little bit more loving awareness around. Or perhaps repeating these sankalpas, bringing them in to your heart space. My body is a home for love. I allow my heart to open, spacious, expanding, and fully accepting myself and others. And when you're ready, just gently release your hands, blink your eyes open a few times, just starting to take in the light. And we'll make our way to all fours for our first Yin Yoga shape. We'll come into a child's pose. So just gently come to your hands and knees, and always know you can take your time if you need more time in these postures. If you have extra padding, you can slide that underneath your knees, such as a blanket or a pillow. You can also roll up your yoga mat if you have a yoga mat or an extra yoga mat. And then just gently guide your knees slightly apart, maybe hip width apart or wider, and bring your big toes to touch. Sink your hips back in the direction towards your heels. And then walk your arms forward. You can allow your chest to reach in the direction towards the floor. If you'd like to bring in props, you can slide a bolster underneath your chest for a bit more restorative child's pose. And another option, if you find that your hips are lifted and not able to relax towards your heels, you can slide a pillow between your thighs or even a block. And you can reach your arms forward and maybe sliding something underneath the forehead. So find an option that feels supportive for you. And in Yin Yoga, we practice these 3 tattvas, or principles. This first principle, finding this first point of sensation, like a mild sensation, not too much, not too little, this kind of sweet spot in the middle, where you feel supported.
And this is where props can be nice to hold your body, to support a healthy, supportive edge. And the second principle is just to let your body become still. Just allow a wave of ease to wash over. Maybe you can take a moment to intentionally relax areas of your body you haven't even considered lately, like the little muscles around your eyes, your jaw, even relaxing all the spaciousness around the heart, front, back, side to side. And of course, if anything ever causes pain, or perhaps the body's inviting you even deeper, that would be a reason to move out of stillness. And the third principle is just to hold here for time. Let the body release and soften. Sometimes it's helpful to come back to that samavriti, that equal ratio breath count. Or just let your body naturally, organically breathe. And the energy of Anahata, or the heart chakra, actually extends out from the heart, horizontally out through the arms and the hands. So it's literally the chakra of embracing. You can visualize a hug. Now you can continue to stay here if this feels nourishing. If you want to move on to a heart opener, known as Anahatasana, sometimes referred to as puppy pose, simply start to walk your hands back under your shoulders. Press yourself away from the floor or any pillows or cushions underneath you. Slide your props forward. And then bring your knees directly underneath your hips. Again, it's nice to have padding underneath your knees. And for this pose, the hips will stay elevated. So you can simply just keep your hips elevated. Walk your hands wide out, maybe even hands off of your sticky mat, and just allow your chest to sink with your heart towards the floor. Another variation is to use either blocks or pillows at the front of your mat. I like to use a bolster here, but you could use a pillow, and you can press your arms on top of the bolster, the pillow, and just allow your heart to melt towards the floor. The forehead might rest here on the edge of the pillow. And another variation is to slide the bolster long ways with a block underneath the highest edge of the bolster, and you can rest your chest down and walk your arms out wide. So just find a variation that feels supportive for you today. The toes can be tucked or untucked. And the idea here is to just allow your heart to soften towards the spaciousness, towards the earth. And if this feels too much for your shoulders, you can always come back into that child's pose. If you feel any tingliness, that might be a sign of compression, so just widening your arms a bit more. Noticing with the changing position of your body if you've changed your breath as well. See if you can come back to those slow, steady breaths. Is there anywhere in your life that you can invite in a bit more loving awareness around? Maybe gazing a bit underneath any stress or tension you've been experiencing. Is there a layer of that forgiveness or more self-compassion that needs to take place? I love this idea of the greatest love story we'll ever have is with ourselves. Tending to ourselves, our own needs. And if you're in Anahatasana, just take 3 more breaths. And to come out, just start to press your weight into your forearms. Engage your core a little bit and draw your heart up and through your arms. We'll come right into a rounded cat pose. So draw your hands underneath your shoulders and simply lift the back of your heart or towards the sky. So your chin reaches towards your chest, tailbone reaches down towards the space between your thighs. Maybe stay here for a few breaths and just rock your hips gently side to side. Let the head relax. Feel the back of the heart open. Feel the sides of the heart open. And then sink your belly towards the floor. Spread the collarbones apart and open the front of the heart, cow pose. And then just move through cow cats, undulating the spine. With the sensation of opening the heart space, front, back, side to side. And then from here, just sit back onto your heels. Slide your hips to one side and bring your legs out in front of you. So we'll come into a forward fold now to open up the back body, the back of the heart, extending your legs long, coming into caterpillar pose. So again, if you lean back in space in your hips, it's really nice to fold a blanket or have a small pillow to sit up on the edge. So not the back of the blanket, but more so on the front edge of the blanket. And this just helps to tilt your hips forward. And from here, if you have a blanket or small pillows or blocks, you can always tuck them underneath the backs of your legs. This is really supportive for keeping the knees slightly bent. And that's one option. You can also bring a bolster or a pillow underneath your legs if you want your legs a little higher. And we essentially will just start to come down into a forward fold if that feels supportive for your head and neck. If it feels supportive to stay upright, you can also place a pillow or blocks stacked underneath your forehead if this feels better for you. You can also stack your props between your chest and your thighs, so maybe a bolster and blocks. But essentially, we are supporting a forward fold with not forcing or pulling ourselves down. It's more this very gentle, very soft opening. And then as you breathe, just experiencing like a gentle expansion of the back of the heart. The shoulder blades softly parting as your arms and your hands relax. Just think about all the love, the compassion, the kindness that you offer out to others. This metta, this loving kindness energy. Let it circulate back to yourself. And give yourself the gift of slow, gentle breaths. Like an invitation to befriend your body. And in this fold, you might find that you're getting cues from your body to back off and add props. Support yourself. I'm going to add a block under my head, or you might be getting an invitation to go to another layer of sensation. Allowing the body to unfold, the shape penetrating into deeper tension or layers. And within these layers lies our subtle energy. So these rivers of energy that are able to flow more freely with more spaciousness. Receiving energy in the energy wheels or chakras, assimilating that energy, processing that energy, safely releasing that energy. Now you can stay here as long as you like. You can pause the video. If you're ready to move on, simply press your palms facing down, either on the surface beneath you or your own thighs, props, or the floor, and just walk yourself back up to Dandasana. So leaning your hands back behind you, straighten through the spine. Close down your eyes, just take a sacred pause. Fill up with the breath all the way to the top. And exhale the breath out. Just observe any sensation of prana moving through those little rivers of energy. Clearing and releasing. Creating spaciousness in the energy system. And sometimes those feelings are sensations of a pulse or tingliness or temperature. Just an invitation to stay embodied. Feeling what's happening in your own body. And then we'll invite in a gentle movement just to allow some space to rebound after that forward fold. So just gently slide any props you might have used to the side. And if you're sitting on the edge of a pillow or a blanket, it's nice to bring your hips off of that blanket. You can bring your feet out wide, let your knees rock side to side for windshield wiper. And another rebound pose that I like after caterpillar pose, that forward fold, is hammock pose or reverse tabletop, where you just lift and lengthen your hip flexors by lifting your hips away from the floor. And you can combine these two rebound poses. Let your knees windshield wiper side to side a few times. And then lift your hips. And then we'll set up for our next pose, and this pose will be our setup for our final pose where we can invite in some self-Reiki. So we'll do a supported fish pose, which is one of my favorite heart openers. And if you have a pillow or a rolled blanket, you can lie it back behind you. Maybe tuck your hips in the direction towards the bolster. If there's space here, you can always slide a little blanket to wrap kind of around the bolster. And this is a nice way to pad any space underneath there. You can also bring a blanket or a pillow at the top of your bolster to support the back of your head. And again, if you have something else you'd like to place underneath the backs of your knees, you can place a rolled blanket or blocks. And of course, if you have none of those props, you can just come into a nice restful shavasana on your back. And then just allow your arms to slide outward for a moment, palms up. Feeling the heart a little bit higher than the arms, the hands, and just imagine this kind of pool of loving awareness resting at the heart space, sliding down the length of the arms, pooling into the palms. And imagine all of the nourishment, all of the love that you can create and offer to yourself, combining that with this divine healing love, Reiki, this loving, nurturing energy channeled from source, allowing that to pool in your palms. And then just take your healing hands to anywhere on your body. So it can be your heart, it could be one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or anywhere in particular on your body that you'd like to send this loving, nourishing, vibrant, healing energy to. Just imagining the circulation of energy. This energy you cultivate from within, this heart energy. And also receiving this divine healing energy down through the crown, through the heart, through the arms, the hands, and back into your body. Just allowing the Reiki to move to anywhere in your body that requires a bit more harmony and balance, healing. And with this awareness, maybe bringing in
this loving kindness, prayer, devotion, metta, repeating to yourself, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be loved, and may I be free of suffering. And then just imagining you're casting this loving metta energy out into the world, into the whole universe. Repeating, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be loved, and may you be free of suffering. And you can continue self-Reiki or just allow yourself to rest in Shavasana, whatever feels nourishing for you. Just give yourself space to bask in this loving awareness. Letting love wash through your mind, your body, your spirit. And just imagine if everything in your life you viewed through the lens of your heart. Just imagine. If everything you're experiencing, all your relationships, your work, if it was viewed through the lens of love. Now just imagine your relationship to yourself was viewed through the lens of love. You can continue to lie here and allow your heart to fully open, feel nourished, held and supported by love. If you'd like, you can move right into the Anahata Yoga Nidra practice. I'll link it below. Maybe consider some ways that you can really tend to yourself and your own heart. showing yourself this love and kindness and compassion that you so deserve. And I'll close out our practice from here. Such an honor and joy to guide you, and with deep, deep gratitude from my heart to yours, namaste.